I proudly welcome you to this quick Microsoft Access database tutorial brought to you by DataText. My name is Akosmaila. I'm your instructor in this lesson. In this lesson, we are going to be developing a fully working employee management database in Microsoft Access. So we are going to work on how to manage our employees in Microsoft Access in our businesses or in our companies. This is going to be quite a lengthy tutorial, and it has been divided into two. Part 1 and Part 2. So guys, without not much we do, let us look at the models that we shall be working on in this system in the Part 1 video. Then also in the next video, that will be Part 2, we will also look at some other couple of features. So now, by the end of this lesson, we should be able to come by an employee management database that has these models or features inside. So number one, the database that we are about developing should be able to store the employee records, that is the various workers that we have in our company or business. We should be able to track their records or information in the database. And then also our database should be able to assign employees to departments. So here is supposed to be departments. Okay, now number 3, we should be able to manage row or the ranks, row ranks. So with every row that an employee has or a position, we should be able to segregate them into or categorize our employees according to their ranks, as whether they are junior level, entry level, middle level, or seniors. Number 4, the system should be able to store the salary information. Now this is, we should not confuse this with payroll. This does not mean that the system is, we are going to be working on a full payroll model in this particular lesson. I already have tons of videos that teaches how to create payroll system or payroll database in Microsoft Access, but in here we are just looking at a feature in the database that will be able to store the salary information, the monthly or weekly salary details of the employee. So if you want to adjourn a payroll feature into this particular system, then kindly check out the videos that I've actually uploaded some couple of months ago on payroll, and you'll be able to find your heads around it. Okay, now also the system should be able to manage the banks of the employees. Our employees will be saving in banks. The system should be able to manage the banks that each employee actually saves with, and the bank accounts also. Now also one of the very predominant feature that we cannot actually afford to leave out is going to be the leave management. Employees will take leave, and we're supposed to be able to imbibe this HR model in our database. So guys, there is no time, let us jump into it. Okay, so I'll close this. Let me save. So I'll close the Microsoft Word file. Now right on the desktop, as usual, we just right click, we go to new. So we are going to create a Microsoft Access database. So here we click Microsoft Access database. So let us give the database a name. So we are going to say employee database. Okay, so employee database. Now create a folder here. So I'll say my business DB info. So my business DB info. Now here I'll copy both the Word document which has the models, the proposed models of the system, and then the Microsoft Access database we created, and then copy everything right into this folder. We double click here. So now we can just double click the newly created employee database and start creating our models. Okay, so here let's choose to enable the content. Alright, so now that we are actually in here, the first table that we need to create is the department table. So our employees are going to be assigned to departments. So first we need to get a table that will store the department for us. So in here we go to create table design. Okay, so here I will say department, I will say depth code, and in here depth code I'm going to make it a short text, and my department codes I'm going to use only 4 letters to identify them. So the font size here in the font properties, I will limit it to 4. Now this is going to be our primary code. So here we'll say depth name. So depth name, and the depth name, let us limit it to 30. Okay, so now these are the only fields that I'll be looking at in my department table. You feel free, if there is any other kind of attribute or feature, that's a field that you had wanted to add to this table, you feel free to do that. There are tons of fields that you could actually use in here to describe your department, depending on where you are coming from. So you could choose to add location and department masters, but to make it so simple for all of us to be able to follow suit, I'm just limited into these key fields. Okay, so now let us right click here, go to save. So here we'll say departments. Okay, so now we have department. Let us open the Word document also, so that we can be switching back and forth so that we don't miss anything out. Okay, so let us open our Word document that will be guiding us. Alright, so now we've been able to create departments. So now let us also go to the bank. So we need to track the bank details, the banks that we have in our country, because our employees will be saving with one of these banks. Okay, so in here we go to create table design. So here we say bank ID, and this one also we can also make it auto number, because we have a lot of banks out here. So let Microsoft Access keep track of that for us. So we say bank. So now what is the bank name? So the bank name, I will limit it to 25. Okay, so in here banks also have sort codes that they use. So we can say sort codes. So sort code. Now we can also say branch. So for each branch, if bank, you have to add the branch as such. So what is a branch? Add a branch also. Alright, so in here these are the information or the fields that we are going to use to describe our bank. So right click, save. Now you can say banks. Okay, so now let us populate these two tables here. So we go to department. Now the first department, I will say MARK. So, or we can say MAKT, and that is marketing. So marketing department. Now we have finance. So finance. Now we have IT. So we say information, or we can just say I.T. Now we also have which other departments can we actually think of again? So we have the HR department. So we say HR. So here we say human resource. Okay, so human resource. All right, so now we can also have security. So you can say SEC, and that is going to be, so over here is going to be human resource. Now we have security. Okay, so now that we have the table here, we can come back to it to populate it at any point in time. So here we have the department table. Now we are done populating it with information. Let us go to the banks. Okay, so now the first bank I will actually enter here is one of my favorite bank, which is Car Bank. So Car Bank, their sort code, I will leave it out, I don't know. Now what is the branch? So I will say KNUST. Now enter the same Car Bank again. So what is the branch? Now let's say Medina. So the same Car Bank again. So the same Car Bank again. Now let's say Tafo. So you can say UBA. So UBA, here we're gonna say Medina branch. UBA again, we're gonna say KNUST. Now we also have EcoBank. We're gonna say Tafo. EcoBank again, we're gonna say Kaswa. So basically I have to add all the banks and then the branches as such. Okay, so this point in time we are going to create a key, and this particular key we are expecting the key to adjoin the bank and the branch, so that we'll be able to determine the specific bank and the branch. So why do we need this particular key? Before then, let us create it so that we'll come back to explain again. So here we click here, we are going to add it right in the data sheet view here. So this time around we go back here, so you click to add, Now you come into calculated field. Now you want the output to be a text or a textual data. So now that we have the textual data, now let us type in the expression. So this column is going to be calculated, and we want it to store the bank. Now I want everything to be in uppercase. So even if the user types lowercase, Microsoft Access should make it uppercase for us. So how do we go about that? So we say ucase bank, so bank, and then ampersand, now comma here, space, now ampersand again, we say branch. Okay, so now whatever that we'll be having in here, Microsoft Access will convert it to uppercase for us. So now as you can see, you can say, so we can just say bank Syria. Okay, so now this is what we have. If let's say branch Syria, so branch Syria. Okay, so we have Car Bank USD, Car Bank Medina, Car Bank Tafo, Car Bank Medina. So now we have our banks neatly spelled out here. So let's say for instance you add a bank called APSA, you type in lowercase, you can see that it's populating in uppercase. So let's say this is the source code, and now the bank is located, let's say in Ejisu, Kumasi. So now we have the bank and the branch neatly spelled out here. Okay guys, so now we are done with this. So the next step is for us to now create one of the parents table, which is going to be the employee table. So now here we go to create table design. So our employees are a lot, so we'd like Microsoft Access to be assigning unique identifiers or populate the values of the primary key for us. So now we say emp ID and its auto number. In fact, we would like the auto numbering to be 3 digits. So format, we type in 000. So this 00, what it's going to do is that for each person, if the person is number 1, it's going to be 001. If it is number 2, it's going to be 002. So let's click here, primary key. Okay, so here we say first name, short test. So guys, don't forget to come in here for the purpose of normalization, limit the field size over here so that your database will probably follow normalization rules. Okay, so here we can limit everything to 40. Now here we will just take the last name, but then feel free if you would like to take the middle name also. So here too we say 40. Now let me save the table before we can continue. So right click here, we say employee TB. Okay, so we have the emp ID, first name, the last name. Now we're going to take the gender. So here gender is supposed to be option so that we can select. So we go to lookup. Okay, so in here the lookup value, we would like the lookup value, we are going to type it ourselves. So we're going to define the values or the option fields, sorry, the options in the lookup ourselves. So here we say it's a male, it's a female. Yes, so every person, these are, we expect every employee to fall between one of these options. Yes, so this is mutually exclusive. All right, so now we go to next, we limit to list. Now we can click finish. All right, so now we can also track. So gender, then let us also take the birth date. So the birth date, now the birth date, the data type is supposed to be date or time, date or time. Okay, so in here we can now choose to say telephone. So we can now choose to say telephone, and the telephone here in Ghana, our telephone length is just 10, but then I will increase it to the 12 so that should in case the people had like to actually keep track, so let's say 13, so that they can specify the country code also. Now by saying 13, it means that the default value I want every employee's telephone number to take my country code. So default value I'm going to say equal to quotation 233, because that is a code here that we have in Ghana. So let us view something here. Now let us save. So here you can see 233. Okay, so we need to add plus. So plus, now if that is the case, it means that plus 233 here is 3 characters added up to 9 is going to make 12. Okay, so 13 is actually fair. Alright, so now if we should run, sorry, if we should view, you can see plus 233 here. Alright, so now the next, so we have telephone, can take the email. So email, we can make it just a short test and limit it to 45. Now address, so address or location. So because address or location can turn out to be quite lengthy, let us use long text. So those of us that will be using versions other than 13.16 upwards, you will see memo out there, and memo is the same as long text. Okay, so here we have the address and then also the location. So let us assign them to a department. So here we say, what is a department? So the department, we come down here. So now this is also going to be a lookup wizard. I want the lookup field to get the values from another table or query. So here we go to next, department name, next. So here we click department code, next. Okay, so now we have our department. Enable integrity. Now make sure that you restrict the delete, so that if you should remove one department, you wouldn't be losing all your staff members assigned to that department. So here we click finish, we save. Alright, so now we can also specify the role. So what is the job role or the position? So job role or the position, this is going to be a lookup wizard. Okay, so let us type in the values. So now here, let's say that it's an HR manager. So it's an HR. Now let's say it's an accountant. Let's say it's a teacher. Let's say it's a data analyst. Let's say it's a data scientist. So let's say it's a database developer or administrator. So this one is software engineer. So basically you need to spell out all the possible roles. So in fact, we cannot forget that of secretary. So let's say manager is here, and then also director, secretary. Okay, so now go to next, limit to list, so that they can select only one. Alright, so now let us specify the rank also. So we say rank, because in here we said we should be able to manage their ranks. Okay, so what is the rank? Here to look up, so type LOO. Now hit enter key. I will type in the values myself. So here we say entry level, intern, junior. So junior, now we say middle or intermediate, and now we can say senior. Okay, so we go to next, limit to list. Okay, so now we are going to take the photo of the employee. So we say photo. Now in here the photo is going to be attachment, so we select attachment. Okay, so this time around, let us specify the bank that this particular employees will be saving with. So we say bank. Now here we come in here, look up as user. So we are going to type in the values ourselves. So next. Okay, sorry guys, you know that you've already added a bank, so we're supposed to have choose this option. We want to get the values from another table or query. So we are going to use the table called banks, because that is where we have our banks there. Next, so here we are going to use branch and serial. So next, so let us filter by branch and serial, so that it's going to be listed in alphabetical order. Now we go to next. Okay, so here we have our banks and branches here. Next, enable data integrity. Now restrict delete, finish, we save. Okay, so now having done this, we are also going to specify so salary periods. So salary period, so is a salary paid weekly or monthly? So salary periods. So in here I'm going to say lookup, and the salary period is going to be, so I'm going to say annual, monthly, weekly, daily. Of course, there's going to be some employees that will be paying daily, so that is the salary period, so it's period. Okay, now we specify the basic salary. So basic salary is supposed to be currency. Okay, so now, so let's say taxable allowance is also currency. Now non-taxable allowance is also currency. Of course, there are a lot of information that you can actually put in here to define, or fields that you can put in here to define your salary. So guys, I'm still suggesting and recommending check out my payroll management databases, and you're gonna find useful information here to help you in this project. So now we are going to keep to just these fields. Right click, save your changes. Now let us view the data sheet. Okay, so here we have a very lengthy data sheet here. So let's say I have an employee. Now I'll add myself Smiler. So Smiler Kojo Bar. I'm a male, so I'll just click in here, male. Now birth date, let's say 12th of November. So 12th of November 1994. Okay, so telephone, I will just type in my telephone number. Now email address, so let's say kwame@hotmail.com. address specify. Now department, let's say I'm in IT. My job position, data. So my job position, database administrator. Now what is my bank? So sorry, my rank, let's say is senior, or my rank is senior. Now my bank, UBAK University. So I'm not saying I save with UBAK University. So here let's stick to monthly. My base salary, let's say, is $30,000 US, and then it's monthly. Taxable, let's say, is 300, and this one, let's say, is 900. Okay, so we can also add another employee, guys, right here. So let's say Sanda Adiza, she's a female. Now let's say she was born on 01 January 00. So let us add a telephone number. So 24. Now Sanda. So Sanda12. So at yahoo.com. Now let's say it's Accra, Medina. Okay, so she is in human resource, and let's say it's HR manager, and she's also a senior. Now bank, let's say is Car Bank USD, monthly, and now her salary. So let's say she takes 120,490. Okay, so now you can see that to be able to add a lot, we can now aggregate this our database. So now we are left to create forms to make our data entry process a very successful one. So the first form that we are going to create is going to be on the employee table. So now let us click here, create form wizard. So I'll click the double arrow to pull everything next. Okay, so now we are going to stick to column. Now we go to next. So here we are going to say employee FRM. So now let us modify the form design a bit. Okay, so here our form is open, ready to be modified. All right, so we're gonna expand it here. Now we close here. So now I will select everything here, and then the size, let's give it a 12. Now color is black. Okay, so we can select, right click, size widest. Okay, so much of the form designing skills, I have had a lot of videos in my playlist that you can check out on how to design attractive and then also catchy forms in Microsoft Access. Okay, so now you're going to put the salary information here for every staff member, which is very, very cute here. So now I will just bring everything closer here. Now let me expand here. Okay guys, so now the next thing you're going to do is that I'm going to keep the labels, I'm going to right align them. So right aligned, and then also right align this also. Okay, so now that we have this, we bold, you select Ctrl B to bold. Okay, so now we select this, the outline, we keep them to black. So we select the outline, we keep it to black again. Now we select here also, outline is left. Okay, so let us expand these fields. Okay, so now we are going to group the records that we have here. So I'm going to add only two levels grouping. So we come to form design, labels, here we click. Now let us add the label. So we say personal information and then work. So personal and work information. Okay, so black. Now the size 18. So 18 is okay. Okay, now we bold it as such. Okay, and now the color, I will choose this color. So let me copy and paste everything here. Okay, so now I will say bank. So bank and account. So bank and account information. Okay, so here we have this also here neatly. Alright, now the next thing I'm going to do is to click in here, and the color here, I'll choose this color, and then also I will click to bring in a rectangle. Let us add a very neat rectangle around here. And now this rectangle, we are going to fill it with the same color. So we click here. Now let's send it to the back. So position, we send it to back. Okay, so now we have a rectangle neatly added. Right click, special effects. Now let us choose this option here. Okay, so next let us make it a pop-up. So we click here, pop-up is yes. Now navigation buttons, we will still need navigation buttons. Record select is no. Okay, now minimum and maximum, we are going to need only minimum. So most of us are very much familiar with this, so that is why I seem to be going faster a bit. So now let us choose thin so that we wouldn't be able to resize this. So let us see the form that we've designed. Okay guys, so now this is a form that we've been able to actually design. Okay, so in here we go to design view once more. Let us close this gap. Now let us close the gap that we have here also. And now, so let's see. Okay, so we're still having some space here. Let's see how best we can do away with it. So you select it. Now horizontal anchor, make sure you set it to both. So that is going to do away the space for us. So now you can see we neatly have it here. Okay, so here you can just search in the employee. Just a Sander, then Sander will come. You can edit the details and everything right here. And everything right here. So the next thing is that this is the picture frame. Once you double click, you'll be able to add a picture. So let us add an icon that will showcase to people that indeed this is a picture frame. Okay, so here we go to insert image, we browse. Okay, so in here we go to desktop. I have a picture here, icon. So we are going to use this as a default picture. Okay, once it's inserted, you come in here, you can see this is a picture name. So if you want to remove it, you just clear this. Okay, now the picture size mode, I will choose stretch because I want it to stretch across. Now let's see whether we can change this color a bit. So let's select this. So now here to do the same thing here. Okay guys, so now let's see. So now as you can see, for each employee, this is what we have. So once you double click and you go to add, so add, let's say I go to desktop, sorry, let's go to pictures. We want to insert a picture. So let's say this is Myla, we insert a picture, we hit OK. So now you can see that a picture has been inserted. So let us refresh the table here, and you can see that now attachment we have 1. Okay, so let us reposition the picture well. So this picture, we can reposition it well. Now we have it right in here. So we add a label, and this label we are going to call it employee profiles. Okay, so here Control E to center, and the size, let us keep it to 26 here. Okay, so now we keep it to black, and we can bold it as such. Okay, so now this is what we've been able to now do. Okay, so now the next step is for us to add some couple of buttons here for us. So go to design view. So design view, we are going to add some couple of buttons here. So the first button is the save button, so we click, drag here. Okay, so now record operations, we want it to save, so we say save. Now we use save, so finish. Okay, so now I will right click here, build events, and this will open the macro. So in as much as I don't want only this button to save, I want to add refresh, so I'll type in here refresh. So once it saves, it refreshes the entire form for us. Okay guys, so now the next button you're going to add is add new button. So we come in here, so add new, record operations, so you can see we have add new, next. So you can say new worker, new worker. Now we hit finish. Okay, so now delete. So record operations, delete, next. Now delete, next, next. Okay, so we are going to be adding icons inside this button. So first, let's select this, and the color we can change it to 12, which is fine. So for instance, save, we come way to picture. Now once you come to picture, so you highlight the button, format, picture, you click the builder icon, so you type S. Now you have save record here, so this is what I want, save. Now you can see that the caption is not showing, so here you come down to property sheet again, picture caption, where do you want to position it? You want to be we want it to be at the right. So we'll do the same thing for new worker. So here too, we come to picture. Now we say go to, so that we go to new. So okay, now as usual we select right. Sorry, this has to be right. Okay, now delete. So delete, we click in here. Now we say delete, sorry, delete. So we have delete, this is what I want. Okay, now as usual, right. So now you can see that our buttons now have they have pictures inside of them, and that is very good. So the background here, I'll change the background to blue. So I'll change the background to blue. Now select everything, quick start, I'll choose this, and the design I'm going to choose this, and then let me also limit it a bit. Okay, so now this is what we have, guys. So now this is how far we've managed to come. So the next step, we are going to do away with this, our navigation options or navigation bar. So to do away with this, you double click here, navigation, you select no. Okay, now make sure that scroll bars you set it to neither, so that there wouldn't be any gray horizontal bar for us. Okay, so now this is a classy form that we've managed to actually come by. Now you know that when it comes to employee management database, greater of the interface has to be centered on employees, because that is where the whole management takes place from. Now the this table, basically every table that we've created, although we might not be able to create forms for all of them, but then you should be able to create tables for the banks and then the departments. And I will show you how you can link those forms also to this very form that we have here, so that right in here, if a department is not here, you can actually click to add a department and you can click to add a bank. Okay, so guys, now let us also add a search. So we can add a search bar, then we will need a search bar, then also we are going to need next and then back button. So we are going to search on we shall be searching on the employees IDs. So what do? We go to design view. So in here we go to buttons. Now we bring a very simple button here. You can also choose to use a combo box, but in here I'm going to use only search button. Okay, so now the button, we are going to say record navigation is a category and the action is supposed to find record. Now you click finish. Okay, so we keep it as small as possible. Okay, now go to format, select this. Now as usual, so this is what we have now. Now let us put give it a suitable tape. So we select it, come to other. Now cursor on hover, default is okay. So control tape, we say search employee by ID. Okay, so now let's see what this means. So if you hover the pointer on this, now you can see the tape will come search employee by ID. Okay, so now that we have this, it's left with the next and then backward button. So we come down here again. So let us add this. So this is going to be record navigation. Go to previous. So next. Now I want to say back finish. Okay, so let's do the same thing for forward. So we click again. Now we add a serial button. Record navigation, go to next. So now here we hit finish. Okay, so now that we are done with this, let us apply the same formatting to this. So we click here, double click the format pointer, add and add. Now click it back to deactivate the pointer. Okay, so now we are done. We can neatly position everything here. Okay, so in here we can now view whatever that we've done here. So if you go to next, we have it here, next. So next. Now let's say I want to search for employee with ID 002. I click, now it says 002. So now you can see that it has searched for Sander for me. So new worker, let us add a new worker. So we say Andy Godfred Enim. Now he's a male, birth date, let's say 20th of May 1997. Telephone number we add, so let's say Andy1, so at datatext.com. So address, now let's say Kote. So what's the department? Let's say he is in marketing. Job position, he's so now you can see that his job role is not here. So we'll go and update his job role right now, but let us choose any of them. So let's say he's a manager, and what is the rank? Middle. So bank, he is in Car Bank Tafo. Salary monthly. So now what is the basic salary? Let's say it's 990 and 120. So now that we are done, you simply have to hit a save, and as soon as you come back and you refresh, you can see that the information jumps right into your database. Okay guys, so now it is getting more interesting. So what we're going to do here now is to we want to be able to see all our employees at the bottom here. So how do we go about that? So now that we have this, we go to create again, form wizard. So we need employee ID, first name, last name, gender, birth date. Now also we need the bank, and then the rank and the department. Okay, so we go to next. Now we want to say tabular. We want to add a tabular form as a subform. So you can say employee sub. Let us modify the form. Okay. So here we deactivate, we delete that, sorry. Now we add everything here. So let us pull this to the top. Now we add it up neatly. Good. So here we click, we bring it here. Now we add neatly here. Okay. So I'm gonna stretch this one a bit. Okay, so now let us bring everything closer. Everything closer. Everything closer. Now everything closer. So we bring it here. We bring this here. Now the department also, let me stretch it a bit. Okay, so we click here. Now as usual, we select this color. So let us also click inside of this and then choose this color as such. Now alignment, I'll choose black. Now I want to make sure that there's nothing like alternating colors. So I'll click here, alternate fill color, I'll choose none. And then our color itself, I'm going to fill it with this color. Okay, now select everything back. Black is okay. Now here we bold it, and we can also choose to fill this with our same. So let's choose this color this time around, and alignment we are going to choose black. Okay, so now guys, we are done. Let us pull everything to the top. So color is 12. In here let's choose 12. Okay. Okay, so now let us view this form. So this is how the form is looking. So you can see the date of birth needs a lot more illustration. So let's come down here. Now birth dates.
Bluetooth cancelled.
So here we stretch it a bit. Now this form we shouldn't be able to add. So we click. Now allow additions no. We save. Okay, so form. Now this is a form that we've managed to. And the bank also, it needs a bit of stretching. So design view again. So we do all the necessary stretchings. Okay, so now here let us reduce the size so that everything can show properly for us. Good. So here, send everything here. All right. Okay, so now we close. Yes. Now employee form, design view. So what we are going to do here is that we are going to pull everything right here, create space. Now this space that you're going to create, you bring the employee sub here. Okay, so here you bring your employee sub, you stretch it across here. So let us limit it to this so that we can close this a bit. Alright, so now that I have it selected, shape outline, you choose transparent, and then also double click in here. Navigation, we don't want it, so you can choose show navigation so that you can search, but we don't want record selector. Alright, so now let us view the form to see how good it looks. Okay, so now this is what we've managed to actually do. So it needs some bit of improvement. So design view again. So design view again. Now let us stretch the form. So here can choose to bring our stubs here. Okay, so now we can also stretch this. Okay, can also stretch this, and now horizontal we set it to both. Okay, so now right click, save everything, form view. So now this is what we are actually having. So in here you can see that if you go to next, it shows every employee right in here in the tabular form, but this is not what we want to. We want to see all our employees here. So design view again. Now we need to delete the relationship that comes with this subform. So data tab, you can see there's a relationship between the master form, which is the employee form, and then also the child form being a subform. So we delete all this We don't want any relationship. Okay, so now that we have this, all right, so now you can see that as soon as you add an employee, it jumps right in here. So let's say new worker, so let's say ns, so ns Bafo is a male, birth date blank, so let's say department, position now, so bank, now salary, let's say it's 200, 100, 100. So once we save this, now you can see that it jumps right into so guys, these columns you just have to do some more of the stretching so that they will all get to show well here. Okay, so now without not much I do, we are going to create the employee form, and then we see how we can actually link the the department form, so that we see how we can link department to our employee form. Okay, good. So guys, now we move. So here we go to department, create form view. Okay, so in here I'll bring everything here, columnar is okay. So now we have department. I'll open the form. In fact, with this department form, I'm not going to do I'm not going to improve the design. What I'm going to do is very simple. I'm just going to make sure that they are all in shape. So size here, I'll set it to widest, and then I will leave this. So now what I will need most is to make it a pop-up form. So let us make it a pop-up. Pop-up is yes. Okay, now record selector, we didn't need record selector. Okay, so what I will need is that I will add button. So I'll click record operation, add new. Now this I will use the picture or the icon. So finish. Now what I will do again is to add the save. So here we click record operations, save again. Now here we hit finish. Okay, so now again we are going to add delete. So we say delete. So go to record operations, delete, finish. Okay, so here we add. Okay, now let us select shape, now our favorite design style. Now the next button that I'm going to add is that, so let me add, that will be number 7. So export employees in specific departments. So we should be able to export employees in specific departments. So how do we go about that? So we add the export button. So we come in here, we say export. Okay, record, so I'll click cancel. Now I'll say export workers info. So now export workers info. So basically if you click this button, it means that Microsoft Access should export the workers that we have in this department. Okay, so this is some kind of interesting feature that we're going to look at very soon. So here I'm going to stick to our favorite design style again. Alright, so now how do we do the exporting? Alright, so to do the exporting, now we have department form. So once you click here, nothing shows, but you can click here to add a new department. So let's say we have a department called sales. So we can say SL, then sales depth. Okay, so here we can just save, and once you open department, now you can see we have the sale department also added here. Okay, so now we want to be able, whichever department, so let's say that I search for IT, I should be able to export all the workers in IT department. So how do we do this? Now you're going to use a query to do this. So we're going to create query design, employee table. Now we click to bring everything in here, but one important thing that we are going to do is that we bring departments. We already have departments, so let's add a department table. So we add department table. Now you can see that a connection is now built, so we want the department code. So once we run, you can see that it has given us the department code of every employee's department. So let us click save. So we say filter employees. Okay, so now what we are going to do here is that we set a criteria. So we don't want to show, we don't have to show the department code, but then we are going to set a criteria on this. So how do you set a criteria? Now the criteria should be based on whichever department I will be showing on this form. So guys, let us right click here, build. Now employee, all forms here. So go to department, and whatever detail that we have in department code, show me, filter to show me only those employees in the department that matches the code. So forms department code, it means that now we want to see only records where the department equals the department that we currently selected. So we hit OK. Alright, so now we have this. Now let us go into our departments. Okay, so now go to design view again. So build events, macro. So now you say export with formatting. What object do you want to export? Query. So what query do you want to export? So now what query do you want to export? So the query is filter employees. Now do you want to auto start? We don't want to auto start, but then we should be able to choose whether to auto start or not. So we save. Okay, so guys, now let us close, open everything. So now let us guess something that is going to happen right now. So let's say I want to see or export the employees in HR department. Go to export. So which file do you want to create? Excel. We hit OK. Now yes, auto start for us. So filter employees. Now let me add HR. So we hit OK. Now we give our system some couple of time, and you can see here Access is opening it for us. So guys, it tells us that these are only the employees in HR department. So you can see we have employees in HR. Okay, so basically if you want to create or export any other kind of employees, say IT, you select IT, exports. Now you can also create a PDF or a test file as such. So we want to leave Excel, we come in here, auto start. So here I'll say IT. Okay, so here you can see we have only one staff member in IT, and that is Akosmila. Okay guys, I believe this has been a very interesting feature that we've actually added. So now the final phase in this particular lesson, or part 1, is that we want to be able to go to the department form straight away from the employee form. So here we come to departments, let us add a button. So now this button should go to form operations, so we should do open form for us. Now open form. So which form? Departments. Next. Now open the form and find specific data display. No, open the form and show the records here. So we click finish. Alright, so now we can apply the same formatting here. So we click the format printer, we apply it here neatly. Okay, so now once we are adding an employee and we click here, you can see that it can just open up the department for us to actually add a department. So guys, we've been able to attain all these models with the exception of leave management. So let us highlight leave management. We'll come back to it in the next part of this particular lesson, which will be uploaded in few days ahead of us. So let us watch it out. Guys, I believe this video has been very helpful. You've learned a lot. We've learned a lot. So kindly do your possible best to share this video. Subscribe to the channel if you're a newcomer. This is what we do here. I make sure that I give you helpful database tutorials in Microsoft Access that will make you a guru and then a competent DB developer. Guys, let us like the video. If you have a comment, kindly put it in the comment section. I will look at it. If you would like to engage me out of this particular channel, please check the description of any of my videos. Contact me on WhatsApp or email, but I would advise you do it on WhatsApp for faster replies sake. Thank you so much for watching. See you in part 2 of the employee management database lesson. Thank you. Bye.